Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video, and today's video is going to be the first video in a decently long series on what I'm going to call How to Ninja. I wanted to make this a while back, but it's never had like the best time to make it, and I think now is a good time to kind of, I see a lot of newer players in my comments, more so than recently, which is amazing, and because of that, like I want to kind of give a series on like how I play Ninja, what I think is good about Ninja, why you should play Ninja. I'm going to go through, I'm going to start really simple and like talk about the heroes, talk about the class, talk about, its play style. I'll talk about how it plays against the field and how you play against it. But then I'll kind of even go more in depth with each hero, mainly Katsu, but I'll also go over Benji and Ira a little bit on like how do you play those heroes. I've done videos in the past talking about like Katsu blues and all this other stuff and like non-attack actions and things of that nature, but I'm going to go over it again. So if you're not new to the channel and you're a seasoned Ninja player, seasoned Flesh and Blood player, the series might not be as applicable to you, but I want the new players to, at least from one person's perspective, have an idea on how to play this class. The last thing I'll say before I start, I'm not into long intros, but I want you all to know this is one person's opinion. I'm not saying this is the way to play Ninja or this is the way, all comprehensive how-to guide. There are a lot of amazing Ninja players out there, and I just hope that I can give somebody some type of starting point with the class. So this is the first video in the series. I'm assuming the series is going to go like 5-6 videos, maybe even more, and I may interweave it between other videos, but overall over the next couple weeks you should expect to see like How to Ninja Part 1, How to Ninja Part 2, and it will kind of give you in the description, the title, what that specific video is about. Today's video, though, is about the Ninja class in general. And I'm going to talk about the class. I'm going to talk about the heroes very simply. It's not going to be a super long video. I'm going to try to make these as easily digestible as possible. No one wants a 30-minute how-to guide sometimes. But yeah, so for the first one is Ninja. So Ninja class in the Flesh and Blood, game, to me, is a more aggro to slightly mid-range class. It's more aggro. So if you're coming from Magic, if you're coming from even Digimon or something like that, games that I play, or Pokemon, it's more of an aggro-based deck. It's more of, even in its slowest form, it's more of, value blocking when you can. But for the most part, you apply pressure and apply your own defense through your offense, if that makes sense, right? You give the opponent so much pressure, you go so wide, or at least you threaten the ability to go so wide that it forces your opponent to block, which in turn helps your own defense because you don't have to block as much yourself. Because if anyone is very new to this game and you're just watching these videos for the first time, in Flesh and Blood, basically the way it works is you have a 4-card hand, and whatever cards you defend with, and you only draw back up to 4 after your offensive turn, other than like cards that give you draw effect. But typically you only draw after your offensive turn. You don't draw after your defensive turn. So if I have 4 cards and I use all 4 on offense, I draw back up to 4. And then on defense, I use 2 cards to defend with. I only have 2 cards left on my offensive turn before I'm allowed to draw back up after that turn. Hopefully that makes sense. So how does this apply to Ninja? Well, in Ninja classes, if you can apply a lot of pressure and force your opponent to block, then you're going to have an easier time on your defensive turn because they're not going to have as many cards to play with. So that's how you apply pressure. So if you like aggro, if you like going wide, if you like, death by 1,000 cuts, hitting your opponent with a lot of attacks, or you like just kind of making your opponent be off step and like making them kind of not know what to do next, this might be a really good class for you. You might enjoy it. If you're like in Magic, I'm trying to think, if you're like a mono red, or like a red black or something like that, that's what I would say is the equivalent to this. So that's definitely like kind of how it goes. Or I'm trying to think in other TCGs like Digimon, it's kind of the same, like even red and even sometimes like Rookie Rush blue, stuff like that, trying to make some comparisons. But anyway, so that is kind of how this class type goes. Some people try to make it work with like slow mid-range or control. My personal opinion, I'm not saying this is the right opinion, but my personal opinion is that's not what the Ninja class was designed to do. I mean, you're looking at these three ninjas right here, right? You have Ira on the left, you have Katsu in the middle, and you have Benji on the right. If you look at their hero abilities, Ira gives +1 to her second attack. Benji gives +1 to the second attack that hits, that is after the first attack hits, the second attack gets +1. And then Katsu allows you to banish a card with 0 cost, or discard a card with 0 cost, excuse me, and then go search a card in your deck for combo after your first attack action card hits. Now, all 3 of these abilities are aggro-based abilities. All of them are designed to go get cards or to plus up your attacks. None of them are designed anything to do anything that you would consider mid-rangey or non-aggro based. Now, Ira was played mid-range for a very long time and was very successful at it, but I think that was just because of lack of card pool, not because what the hero is designed to do. I think the ninja class in general is a very aggro-based class, and I think that you need to play it as such. Because one thing that a lot of people, at least, especially in my opinion, in the last like 6 months, are making the mistake they're making with Flesh and Blood. And if you're a new player, don't make this same mistake. Is they're trying to do one or two things that I would consider like wrong. One is they're trying to do too many things with their deck. So you're trying to play a hero that can go mid range, but also can go aggro, or plays defense reactions and is good at defense, but also can apply a lot of pressure on offense, right? And in some cases that can work in a perfect scenario, but overall, like if you're a new player, pick a deck, pick a hero, and then do one thing with that hero, right? And we'll talk about this when we get to the type of cards in future videos that these heroes can use. Center your deck around one consistent thought process and one consistent plan, because if you try to do too many things, then your deck just becomes inconsistent. So that's one mistake that people make. Another mistake people make is trying to play the hero in a way that it's not meant to be played. I think a lot of people are just trying to force heroes into certain deck archetypes that they like, but that's just not how this works. A good example of this with Katsu, and if you're not new to the game, you don't know the other hero, but there's another hero called Chain in Flesh and Blood that is very aggro. He banishes cards. Basically, he can play more cards in his hand in his turn than any other hero in the game, especially mid to late game. So he's very aggro based. Some people try to play Katsu and then just try to push damage, right? Or try to not like mix up their attacks and stuff like that. Like if you want just sheer damage, go play Chain. Don't try to force Katsu to play like Chain, right? It's a very weird example, but if you're new to the game, but there's just, overall try to stick around one idea. But yeah, it's a aggro based play style. It's kind of a play style where you're trying to keep your opponent off guard with what type of attacks you're going to have. The next video is going to go over what combo means. So if you want to watch that, definitely watch it. It'll kind of give you an idea of what combo means within the ninja class and how it applies to you. But overall, yeah, if you like aggro, if you like anything of that nature, Ira and Benji, which are on the far sides of these 3 heroes, are both blitz heroes. So if you're new to the game, you just want a blitz deck, you can do those 2. Katsu also has a blitz version, like a younger version, but he also can be played in Classic Constructed, which is the general format. If you're brand new to the game personally and you want to pick one of these 3 heroes, and let's say you're only going to play blitz, I personally would play Ira. She's going to give you the best, like the easiest. You can get a good Ira deck for really cheap if you want to feel like you're being accomplished. As far as learning how the ninja class works perfectly, I would personally use Katsu. Katsu introduces you to the combo mechanic, introduces you to different attacks and having to have decision points on what attacks you're going to play and things of that nature. So he's really good for that. And then Benji's kind of the weird hero. Benji definitely got a buff in Everfest with some of his cards, and we'll talk about that in future videos. But overall, Benji's kind of one of those heroes where you really got to be patient and you got to play really properly in order to do things correctly and be able to win games. But he still is a very good hero, and I definitely would not count him out. But yeah, so if you like aggro, if you like, fast-paced gameplay, if you like not blocking a whole lot and just kind of applying pressure to your opponent, then that's really, this is probably the class for you. If you want to, play control or play mid-range style, you can with these heroes. It's Katsu control used to be a thing. Ira control and Ira mid-range used to be a really important, really popular thing, but the game is kind of sped up overall, and so it's kind of forcing these heroes to go back to what I think that they were originally designed to do, which is be aggro-based decks. But hopefully this video made sense, at least a super introductory video. Please go to the next video. If you're watching this the day it comes out, the next video will probably come out the day after. I'm going to try to get these out like quick succession. That way I can get to other videos, but also, give people, information as quick as possible. But hopefully y'all enjoy the content. If you like this, how to ninja content, let me know, and we'll, keep doing these and get more players introduced to the game. And yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in to TC Talk, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much.